What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today might feel like a rant because we're gonna talk most fraudulent players. Many of you sent in requests, suggestions, players that did not live up to the hype. If you want a part 2, because I'm gonna give you 10 names in this video, it's gonna come in strong, hot take, bold, not soft. Like the video, please, and thank you. If you want to be featured in the follow-up, comment down below most fraudulent players you've used and include icons. I'm not going to talk icons in this video, but I might shift that in the second iteration because I just feel there are a lot more than 10 players that are kind of fraudulent. And if you need a definition, I got you covered. Players that have the statistics, but they don't have the performance. It's pretty common in FIFA. You see all these beautiful stats, the alignment, the collective. You see the picture? That's a piece of art. Then you get in game and they're clunky. They don't move as they should. They're not impactful. They're one-sided, one-dimensional. And you say, what's happening here? These stats can't be real. Then you try a different chemistry style. Still doesn't work. You try a different position. Still doesn't work. It's a little upsetting, frankly. Also, this video, no icons, and I'm gonna use relevant players. I don't wanna talk about guys that are super obscure. I wanna discuss players that are high rated, that we see used, that are in rotations, that have had moments throughout the year. This is off the top of the dome, as many of my videos are. And it's not necessarily listed in order. Just giving you 10 coming in. Smack. If you want a part 2, like the video, thank you. That will tell me if we make that video. That's all I'm saying. You say in the comments you're underrated YouTuber. You guys control everything that happens here. What you're watching, how you're impacting, how you're engaging. I love you, stay beautiful. Let's run it. I say that, but the video is likely to get quite negative. Been drinking some haterade. Myron, this is the man that started the discussion. What was Ibra saying? He's a Ferrari amongst Fiats. This is like ordering fiber optic internet and they're giving you dial-up or a weak broadband, something suspect. I don't understand the statistical allocation with Myron. A lot of you fired back on social media as well, on Twitter and previous YouTube videos, because I was discussing how I could not get anything out of them. I didn't feel it. The movement wasn't there. Pace, fraudulent. Dribbling, fraudulent. Shooting, finishing, fraudulent. Physical, strength, fraudulent, and his passing was frankly just bad. Maybe you didn't have a big expectation there. This is my experience. Some of you agreed heavily. You backdoored, you co-signed, others not so much. But my experience wasn't good. I was so disappointed because he should be amazing. Also, some of you said, well, he's only an 84. It doesn't matter if he's an 84. Isn't Renato Sanchez an 84? Still seeing him used in pro teams. If the stats cater to the game and the meta, he should perform. That's not it, Chief. Lautaro Martinez. We could talk about the foot freeze or any of his informs. He has the majority of stats you look for with a striker, an attacking player, a winger, whatever. But it doesn't come together. It's not easy on the eyes. The overall package. And I believe that it deals with his movement and his body type. Because on paper, everything is clean, crispy, organic. I'm not talking about my eyes. I see the comments. It's like if wheels weren't round, they wouldn't be wheels. I don't know where I was trying to go with that analogy. I had some sort of follow-up, but I lost it when I started spinning. I just find myself with the same internal question and discussion around Lautaro every year. This is why I talk about track records and prereqs to FIFA. Lautaro's never had a FIFA installment where he's been the highest tier. Always had pretty solid statistics, and I was asking, can we get more? Why am I not maximizing with this player? What's happening here? Caput. And I almost wonder, is there a conspiracy theory around high-rated Italians? Just hear me out. Listen to some of these top-tier players, the highest rated. Are you using them? Is there a worse nationality for performance or output amongst some of the big boys? Baresi, Baggio, Pirlo, Nesta, Vieri, Chiellini, Immobile. That's just a few. You can throw Insigne in there. Don't get me wrong, there's some positive stories here as well. I'm not trying to disregard some of the narratives. Maldini, one of the best center backs in the game. Same with Cannavaro. I rate both of those guys. That new iteration, that El Shaarawy. Whew, spectacular. Cream of the crop. Give me those raviolis. One of my favorite food types of all time. I'll take all of the pasta. I want the carbs. But when I start looking through some of the players, I feel that there's a constant with under-delivery with Italians in particular. Caputo just ends up being so average. Grass post-pesticides. Not natty. Joe Hart, goalkeepers I can keep relatively simple. Pope is better than Joe Hart. I can keep this very short. I've been battering Hart all week in league, like pancakes in the morning, little brunch session. Every stat is there. I know it doesn't necessarily work like that with goalkeepers, but he's 6'5", he's really fast, but he got them flailing arms. If you know the animation, you know the animation. Gio Reyna, I still support this man. I'm not turning my back, but we need to have a follow-up talking about the 99 agility and 97 balance. In no reality, in no galaxy, in no alternative universe are you going to feel 99 agility and 97 balance. I don't know if I want to go as far as saying his movement is super clunky, but he's way stiff if we're comparing to those on paper numbers, which is the definition of fraudulent. And you're going to pay a hefty price tag. If I had to compare Reyna, he often feels similar to Zidane. The issue is Zidane is in the 80s for agility, in the 80s for balance. And you can't play Reyna as a center mid. Doesn't have any defensive statistics, because that's kind of your breakthrough, your compromise, your negotiation tactic with Zidane. You say, hey, instead of being a center attacking mid or center forward or striker, we're gonna play you as a center mid. Zidane says, sure, I'll show you. I still have that roulette. I've got the touches, and there's a learning curve with getting used to them. I believe this deals with height slightly, but it shifts the foot item. You can't maximize Gio Reyna if you're gonna have issues with turning, or if you're gonna have concerns with the agility and the balance. You're paying a premium because you need to get that. And it also allows you to be a center attacking mid, to interchange as a striker, to be a winger, to play on the left, to play on the right. I'm limiting myself. I didn't get the pill. This is not limitless. I want that Reyna. Harry Kane. I've talked about this guy being overpriced, overrated. Now he's one of the most fraudulent. Am I a Kane hater? I don't think so. I think I'm a realist. I support him in real life. I think he's very impressive. But would you, should you, could you pay over $1 million for this foot item? I don't think so. Is it the best version of Harry Kane? Yes, undoubtedly. But he still turns like a load of bricks. Or maybe a better example is an indecisive driver. The biggest difference is frontline pace. So if you hit a through ball down central, Harry Kane is faster. But as soon as you need to adjust on the fly, this man is by no means spontaneous. Neuer. This is a weird one for me because we're discussing the Team of the Year iteration in particular. And I love Neuer real life and also in FIFA this year. However, something happened come January where this foot item doesn't even feel as good as these 89. And I know it's heavily opinionated, especially with goalkeepers and subjectivity, but that's how I feel. And we don't see him in rotations with the same levels of frequency, not even close. So some of you gotta be sharing a similar vibe because there are a lot of options in the Bundesliga to get the links. A lot of you are using icon center backs. Speaking of icons, we see heavy rotation of the likes of a Petr Cech, Peter Schmeichel, and Van der Sar. Even Yashin, which kind of confirms that there's something happening here. There's an issue, there's a concern, there's a skepticism, there's some critiques. Something's not clicking. Why do we not see more Team of the Year Neuer? And don't tell me price point. People have budgets to work with, especially at this point, and folks want results. And Neuer has a fan base. Something's just not there. Oh, Kevin. Brand new SBC. No traits, no stamina. A lot of stats that don't look bad, but in game, you are going to request and demand more. You need more. And there's no versatility or variety with this player. When the stamina is low, you can't run him as a center mid. You can't play him as a holding mid. Even as a wing back or a full back or a center back. Late game and my guy's running out of juice? How do we get the re-up? I need that special sauce or that special drink. I need the extra kicker. It won't exist with that low stamina. So this offsets what you're seeing on paper. When you have no additional traits and the stamina is low, even if everything else looks good, unless he's gonna be an anomaly and not follow the rules, which is rare. That's a unique situation and it's case by case. And in this scenario, this example, big little normal Kevin, I'm not feeling it. Calling fraud, I'm stamping that somewhere. Kante. Now this might be debatable. Is Kante a fraud? Is this to be expected? Is this the normal progression of the FIFA title? Because early on, Kante was a monster, a beast, a problem. But at this point, he's annoying defensively and he holds a massive reputation, but he's so subpar offensively with his passing, the skills, being able to score. Shooting is non-existent. We got the ghost of Kante. Does that make him fraudulent? And this is more of a question. Please let me know in the comments, because I believe a lot of you have expectation with Kante and now you're going to be disappointed, and he's high rated and he has such recognition within the FIFA community that now it starts coming into, is he a fraud? I think he's a fraud. Maybe he's a fraud. You're disappointed. He wasn't able to achieve the success story you had heard on the virtual pitch. But I just feel the games kept progressing and now he's not keeping pace compared to where he was early on, which makes it where we've got this situation. But I wanted to talk about it. I needed to bring it up, get it off my chest. I don't want to disrespect Kante. He's someone who's putting a lot of work on the virtual pitch, but at the same time, I can't recommend him the same way. I've packed Kante 3 times this year, untradeable. Those go into SBCs. That tells a story, kind of confirms something. I'd just rather have more balance in my midfield. Last but not least, Kevin De Bruyne, KDB. Basically, any version that's not Team of the Year is not that suited for FIFA's success. Tons of stats, greens everywhere, but he just doesn't feel fluid. The flow, the rhythm, not meant to be a rapper. It doesn't come together seamlessly on the virtual pitch. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And he has the 5-star weak foot, the 4-star skills. A big portion comes down to the movement and lack thereof, or maybe the general stiffness. This is like when you over iron some pants. They're like slapping you back. Some of you never ironed clothes before. You're like, Mike, what are you talking about? Some of you know a life with no iron, or you only know the steamer. You've been spoiled. We can look at the 92, for example. The shooting, the passing, the dribbling, the physical. 91 stamina as well. Defense is decent. You can play him as a center mid. I think the acceleration and the agility and the balance and the sprint speed plays a big factor to go with his overall structure, his build. He just needs more. And then even his Team of the Year variation kind of overshadowed because Bruno Fernandes is that good. Goated. You can get yourself on the Blues Clues variation. And the reason I say fraud with Kevin De Bruyne is because everything says he should be amazing. You look at the overall rating, you get into the overall statistical allocation, you take a deeper glance into the total statistics, you look at traits, long passer, early crosser, long shot taker, playmaker, outside of the foot shot. It's there. I think he has 7 or 8 traits. But in game, I believe you're gonna request a different level of performance. You're gonna demand more. I call them how I see them. I still got nothing but love for the majority of these guys. Maybe not Myron. I'm not admiring. It's not the greatest pun or play on words. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed it, please drop some love on the video. If you're new, subscribing is free. Notifications, LaBelle slapping, free. Not a problem. Outside, New York City, they're making noise for free. And I look forward to the comments because I know there's a lot of debate here. And also, there's going to be future fraudulent players, maybe even more so with the icons. I can just feel that video. Most fraudulent icons just sounds like something to click on. But I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.